Now, for these past few months, I've been prioritizing two things in my life. The first thing I've been prioritizing is drinking water, and the second thing is wearing protection. Not because it's common sense and it's clearly good for me, but because Jack Harlow said so. Now, Jack Harlow is a 22-year-old Kentucky rapper who's been making some really noticeable waves in the rap game. The first time I heard about Jack Harlow was back in August 2018 when his track Sundown got recommended to me on YouTube.
In the South, then I'm feeling like a pimp, you a simp, I don't feel bad for you, I ain't sympathetic.
Sundown is the intro track to his project Loose that came out that same month. I remember listening to one or two tracks from that project after the song got recommended to me, but I didn't really have that much to say about the music at the time. That's why I think he kind of just left my mind. He did pop up in my mind once again when he dropped his Confetti tape in September of 2018. One thing that really stood out to me when I listened to it is how well Jack Harlow interacts with his instrumentals. I'm talking about the fact that every beat comes with a certain kind of atmosphere, and Jack Harlow bodies that atmosphere. I don't even know if I want to say that this is one of the better parts of him as a rapper, because to me at least, he kind of sounds like he's made for this. From what I've heard, his production is actually not the norm. It's not what you would hear on your average rapper's project in 2020. His Sweet Action project that he dropped in March of this year is a really good example of the contrast you're gonna find when it comes to the production in Jack Harlow's music. On one hand, there's extremely hard club bangers like Too Stylish, and then on the other hand, there's more mellow records like Once May Comes, which is probably my favorite song by him at the moment. And then on the other hand, there's of course tracks like What's Poppin'.
Brand new whip, just hopped in. I got options.
It's physically impossible to not bop your head when you're listening to that song. That right there is of course Jack Harlow's most successful song. The music video was directed by the one and only Cole Bennett, and it came out in January. So far it's been doing extremely well numbers wise. It has over 50 million views on YouTube, and it just hit over 200 million streams on Spotify. It's a paradox, but sometimes these really big songs can actually hurt the artist in the long run to a certain extent, all because so many people associate the rapper with that song only, and it kind of overshadows the rest of their material by a lot. The Panda Effect. The good thing for Jack Harlow though is the fact that he actually has a solid catalog apart from just this one song. All the attention What's Poppin' is getting is definitely feeding into the rest of his discography. But when it comes to this song, I think it is a good example of what you're gonna find in his music. I'm not really talking sound wise because he doesn't only make these kinds of records, but purely speaking from a rapper's standpoint. I mentioned earlier how he interacts really well with the instrumentals, and I think What's Poppin' is the epitome of that.
I'm drinking water and wearing protection. Got a career and I'm very invested.
You know, I think each rapper that's blowing up tells us something about the rap game. You gotta keep in mind, a rapper who's blowing up and taking over isn't getting all that success for no reason. They're filling some kind of gap in the industry or just adding something that's needed in the genre. As for Jack Harlow, I think he has a lot of personality in his records. That personality especially shows in his party bangers. Who he is as a person definitely shines through in his music. I think there's a lot left for him to talk about though. I'm getting the feeling that I've yet to see how deep he can actually go. River Road is a really personal and heartfelt track of his that I think showcases an extremely vulnerable and honest side of him as a rapper. That's actually one reason why I think so many people are gravitating towards him right now. There's something really honest about him. Nothing about him sounds like he's trying to fit in. There's no front on his end, and the fact that he's a white rapper and that's the last thing people seem to mention when they're talking about him says a lot. Even though he just now got his foot in the industry, the future is looking bright for Jack Harlow. I really love seeing young rappers who are just grounded in who they are popping off. The music is telling me that he has a vision for his career long term. He definitely has his place in the game, that's for sure. But yeah, Jack Harlow, a young rapper who's doing some really good things right now. What's Poppin' is still doing extremely well, and that song has already and is still introducing a whole lot of new people to his music. But what do you personally think about him? Is this a rapper you're vibing with? Do you think he makes good music? Definitely let me know in the comment section below and let's have a discussion about this.